Hello, and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode, we watched Godzilla, the one from 1998, with Matthew Broderick in it.
The worst one.
So there were bits that I remembered,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was probably about an hour and a half that I didn't, because fuck, this movie was long.
It took forever. Just killed
Yeah.
it.
It's
Damn
got so,
dinosaur.
I remember the certain bits from this I remember being really cool, like when Godzilla first comes out, and smashes
good
along
for
the
Godzilla.
pier.
Good for Godzilla.
Godzilla's an outie.
Godzilla, our gender queer queen.
Yeah. But yeah, when Godzilla's like smashing through the pier, that scene's really cool. And
And
I
then
remember
Godzilla
them blowing
goes
up the thing with the baby dinosaurs in it.
Yeah. And then Godzilla goes away for like an hour.
Godzilla goes away for a bit, because Godzilla hides in New York.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, so back it up. A studio went to someone and went, "We need an opening credits for a film. What's it about? It's about Godzilla. He's a big lizard." And they go, "Okay." So they just found stock footage of lizards and
Yeah.
military bases, and that was the
And
opening
Komodo
credits.
dragons?
Yeah, big
Komodo
lizards.
dragons are lizards.
Just got me.
What? No, they're dragons. Don't be silly. It's in the name.
I just
They
watched-
also have a really, really good respiratory system
Yeah.
from memory.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we know quite a bit more
Oh
about
no, it was
Komodo.
their
It's circulatory
circulation.
unusual
system,
amount
yeah.
of quid.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't remember, boy, do I have the website for you.
I just like the
We're
opening
the
credits.
equivalent of Matthew Broderick in this, because he knows about radiation and worms, and we know about
About the
their
respiratory
circulatory
system
system.
of the
We could have
Komodo
told them
dragon.
that heat-locked missiles wouldn't work because it's cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it only
just-
took them blowing
if
up the
it's-
Chrysler building
if
to
it's-
work that one out.
If it's anything like the average Komodo dragon. I just love the opening credits of this film because clearly it was made by someone that had no idea what the rest of the film was about.
No.
And it doesn't match the vibe.
It doesn't match the
At
vibe
all.
at all.
It really does. It's got the vibes of like a sort of spy thriller or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just shots of lizards and military bases.
Or like found footage, kind of.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Because
It
they were
did.
testing nukes in French Polynesia.
Yeah,
It did make
And
me
that
check if I was
made
watching
the
the right
lizard get
Godzilla.
that
Mm.
awakened
Yeah, sadly.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Well, Godzilla was a regular lizard, and the radiation
No.
made him big.
No.
No, that's not the lore in this film. That's not the lore in any film. I looked it up because I thought that as well. I thought he was a regular lizard that got hit by radiation, and instead of turning into one of the like a superhero, he became a giant lizard monster.
Yeah,
Fucking-
it's not in this one. In every other Godzilla, it's Godzilla was already a thing, and the radiation wakes him up. But
Yeah, the Godzilla
in this
was a
one, because he's talking about the worms, and he's like, the radiation made the
no.
lizard bigger.
Even in
made
this
the worms
film,
bigger.
even in this film, that's not true. Because
Yeah, in the
They
film
just
it's
never
not clear.
tell you.
They don't really establish it. They just
No,
he
they-
was.
they do. This is
They
the
established
thi-
that the worms got 17% bigger, but he
Yeah.
is not 17% bigger than
Well,
any.
you don't know what he was to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But then it does establish it because you have like the video of the Japanese man dying saying Godzilla, and then you have the woman going, "It's not just Godzilla. Godzilla's like an ancient prehistoric monster." So they do establish that it is a prehistoric dinosaur that was awoken by radiation, and then they ignore that.
Yeah, I guess what the conclusion we must draw is that they do explain it. They do not explain it well.
No, they don't. They explain it for a brief moment.
They
And-
explain it briefly in a film that's somehow 2 hours and 15
Yeah.
minutes long.
and then do a
It
bit
is
of a racist
A
impression.
slog for an action thriller with a
Yep.
fucking dinosaur in it.
With
It's
a
a
giant
slog.
lizard.
Yeah.
Ever shifting sized lizard.
Oh yeah, the size changes so badly
Love
in
it.
this one.
That's a standard for monster movies. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
The ever shifting size of the enemy is exactly what we want.
I do enjoy in this film the total and absolute
Nonsense.
rubbish, nonsense that is the US Army.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are fucking useless in this, and it is quite entertaining.
So we should
yeah.
actually talk about this film. And
Yeah,
not just
as well as
the
there being
opening
the plot of
credits and
Godzilla,
rampage.
there is a secondary sort of
There are
plot
multiple
around Worm
subplots.
Guy and and French
It does
cover-up.
it does the great thing that all of these kaiju movies is, where it tries to make you give a shit about these humans when you just want to see a big lizard
You wanna
wreck
see
shit.
Big lizard.
And the only one that's successfully done it so far is Godzilla -1.
But they crowbar in a love story.
Yeah, of course.
And it's the most
we were high
annoying-
school sweethearts, and
It's the most-
the
She
guy
left
from The
to be a
Simpsons doesn't
journalist.
like- is a
Yeah.
cunt. And,
Yeah, she left to be a journalist, which is fair. But they make her out to be a bad guy for doing it. To be fair, how she
well,
did
he
it
asked
was
her to.
pretty
They were
terrible.
dating for 4 years. He asked her to marry him. She said, "I want to be a journalist instead."
Oh,
you
no,
know.
be a journalist
I
in
think
New
it
York,
was
yeah.
she wanted to move to New York. He didn't. They broke up, but he was more in love with her than she was with him.
Yeah, she wanted, and then she realizes that actually her life was bad without. This film was written by a nerd, and you can tell
Yeah.
because it's full on
big
like
nerd vibes.
It's got
A
quite
nerd who
intense.
doesn't know shit about Godzilla
Yeah.
as well.
she was like it was full on nerd vibes because it's like she wanted to go be her own thing and she regretted it. She regretted not being with him and
Yeah, she is continually punished for her past sins in this film.
which is like trying to have her own career, which she has to apologize for. This film
And
was
even then,
written-
she's trying to have her own career, and the guy that she works for is just the worst.
He's-
And I'm
yeah.
sad that he didn't get eaten by
He
Godzilla.
should have been
I
eaten
really
by
thought he
Godzilla.
was going to die because of how
Yeah.
foul he is.
I hope he wished he would have.
Yeah,
But this film is written by a nerd.
but
and,
Kent
like-
Yeah,
Brockman
her
from The
comeuppance
Simpsons
isn't
does
actually
not die.
important. Like, her revenge isn't important.
No.
Yeah, she
Her-
quits
This
her
whole,
job.
whole film is about punishing her until she gets back with him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like she left him to go do a career, and it turns out her boss is an awful guy, and that's her fault.
Yeah, and in order for her to get a promotion, this guy basically comes on to her. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, if you want a promotion, you're going to have to come out with me to dinner.
Yeah, and she's like, "You know," it's all like it's always framed as her fault. Like she made that decision to go.
Well,
to
it's
New
like
York.
she knew he was a slime bag, so it's her fault that he's a slime bag.
Yeah, this film was written by a fucking nerd who didn't get a
It's-
girlfriend.
Yeah, it's really quite misogynistic because the only other woman.
Yeah.
Well, there's two. There's the wife, and she is just wife. But there's the
She's
the
a nice
redhead.
person. She is a nice person.
Yeah.
The wife is such a lovely person.
But the redhead that's the other zoologist, scientist, nuclear
Yeah.
scientist, is weird, really like overtly sexual.
Yep. And like really wants to sleep with Worm Guy.
Yeah.
I was about to say there was another woman in this, but actually, my memory is wrong. I thought that in this film, the big twist was Godzilla is a woman.
No, Godzilla's still a guy.
Godzilla's still a dude, just reproduces asexually.
Yes.
Because I was like, it's the whole. But actually, the Doctor was a woman
The whole time.
thing.
No, they
I'm
couldn't
like,
even go that far because the writer is
No,
a misogynist.
yeah, but yeah,
Godzilla
I
can't
thought
be
it
a
was going to
woman.
be the Godzilla's actually a woman and trying to find a place to lay eggs, and so there's a man Godzilla somewhere too.
Nope.
No, because
God-
it was written by that much of a virgin that the only way they could have kids
Yeah, Godzilla
is asexually.
Godzilla is a creature that produces asexually and is a genetic clone of the thing before it because it is born pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, but also still only referred to as a he throughout the entire film.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was weird because it's...
That's why I thought the twist was, it's a female Godzilla.
It's a
because they're
girl.
saying he the
No.
whole time, but no.
No, they continue to say he even after.
Mm.
It's so strange because it's like no Godzilla because it's not like in the strangest way.
Were they worried
progressive.
that they were treading on Jurassic Park's toes?
Oh,
They
but this whole
probably-
film is
yeah.
fucking Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
Like,
but I love the idea that they're born pregnant. That's fucking terrifying.
and with eggs as well.
Yeah.
And that many eggs too. Like, where were they?
They are
Also,
genetic-
where did they come from? Because there's a bit where Matthew Broderick, he's standing there and he's behind Godzilla and Godzilla's eating some fish. He could totally see that Godzilla sea, but, you know,
Or no,
just
technically it was a
glossed over
Godzillic.
Godzilla.
Well, it'd be a cloaca, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just weird because it means that they're genetic clones. They're purely identical
Yeah,
to Godzilla.
there's no
They
evolution.
can still,
it's
well,
just,
no, you can still mutate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
through
but
radiation.
Yeah, through radiation.
Yeah.
But they only get
That's
the
how
one.
they get bigger.
But they only
Yeah,
have
so
like
that,
the
yeah, so
genes
it's
from.
it's kind of not incest, but it's
Well,
not.
there's only like the
not-
genes
yeah.
from a single thing. There's no like external, apart from radiation. There's no external force changing that. I mean, it has like 100 children.
Yeah, it has a stadium's worth of small dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Madison Square Gardens, which is neither square or a garden.
has Madison.
Isn't
It has
it? Oh,
has a Madison Square Gardens worth of children.
Yeah.
that's about 3 apples high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about the size of 100 Smurfs.
Smurfs. Yeah.
But yeah, this is like this film is so. I was really hoping because I watched this film as a kid. I remember enjoying it, but I remember enjoying the action scenes.
Yeah,
I was-
that's exactly what I was like too.
Really disappointed with how just like boringly misogynistic it is,
Hmm.
and like bizarrely, it's misogynistic in like the strangest way.
Yeah, it's really it's one of those ones where it's like it feels like they didn't have a single female writer that was allowed to voice their opinion
Yeah,
on the whole.
because there are so many
project.
ways that they could have just been like fixed it, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
They were afraid to
Yeah.
call Godzilla a girl at any point. Can't do that. Refer to as he. It's so. And the other overtly sexual scientist falls in love with Worm Guy.
Yeah, and it's like not even like it's like straight away. Like as soon as she notices that he's male and I guess young,
Yeah.
she's all over him, and in like it's quite predatory because yeah, it is. It's like it's not flattering. It's not subtle.
Yeah. But
I guess at least they don't make out.
well, thing is, he doesn't have a good personality.
No, he's just.
He's
I do
clearly
science
spent
on
too much time with worms.
He's
Yeah.
the blandest man you've ever seen.
He spent 3 years getting worms from Chernobyl,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's his. That's
yeah.
his whole
And that's
backstory.
his whole, he knows radiation because of worms.
Oh, this week in Helena regrets her degree. Yeah, finally used my degree for the podcast where I got to read that they were in Chernobyl slightly quicker than the film tells you that they're in Chernobyl.
You mean on the sign where it says in Russian Chernobyl and then in English Chernobyl?
Yep.
And then it tells you on the
But I
screen
read top down,
later.
so I knew it first,
Yeah.
and I understood the bits that weren't in subtitles.
And then later. I love that it shows you a sign that says, assumedly in Russian or Ukrainian, Chernobyl, and then in English, Chernobyl, and then he drives into it, and then at the bottom of the screen it gives you a little subtitle of Chernobyl, Ukraine.
it's gotta make sure to tell you.
I
Yeah.
was so happy with. I love it when they tell you where they are 4 times before the film even starts.
I like that they really think you've already checked out.
Yeah. And then I love that it puts all of that effort into telling you they're in Chernobyl, Ukraine, and then immediately cuts to New York.
Yeah, it's like they're there, and then he's being picked up, and now he's in Panama,
And then he's in
and now he's in
Panama.
Jamaica, and now New York City.
New York City.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't go straight to
No, he doesn't
New
go
York,
straight
does he?
to
He
New
goes
York.
to French Polynesia.
Yeah, it's
first?
like because it's French Polynesia is where the nuclear testing was.
Yeah,
And
the
they
bad
kinda
nuclear testing. That's what
Yeah.
they want to make people aware because
By the French.
French nuclear testing.
French
None of that
nuclear
good.
testing, yep.
To be fair, Americans have done plenty of nuclear testing, but they also did a lot of it in America.
Yep.
Also a bad idea.
But yeah, he's sort of shipped off, and they're like, he's talking about worms being 17% bigger, and the army guy's like, well, whatever this thing is way bigger. Here's your sample, and he's like, I can't see it. It's like you're standing in it. You'll only know that when the camera zooms out, and he's in a
Yeah.
big footprint.
Hated it. Also, I feel like Godzilla is the ultimate example of how different nations look at things like radiation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
in
this is
America.
the only one where Godzilla isn't seen as a hero that's been made by America.
Yeah. Godzilla is like bad radiation. Like radiation makes monsters.
Yeah.
I wonder where
And
that's
all of the Japanese movies are like oh, this radiation has made a monster that's destroying the cities. How weird. And then, I mean, the newest American ones, which is why we're doing this film, because we thought we'd, get in with the timing of that new one.
Yep.
Is Godzilla's a hero and he's going to protect us against the other monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
Well,
why
that's
that is.
that's sort of similar to giant shark versus mega octopus as well, where it's like, how do you take
True.
down a giant monster with another giant monster?
Yeah.
And then you've solved at least one of your problems.
Well, you've solved like 1.5 because the other giant monster
Yeah.
isn't going to be strong enough to fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, you hope. You hope it isn't an easy fight. But this is just them dealing with Godzilla, and like shit Godzilla as well. Like not even Godzilla with the cool powers.
No, it's just Godzilla that
It's
is
just
a
big
big
lizard.
dinosaur.
It's just big lizard
And like,
boy.
it doesn't even have the
flame
like laser breath thing.
Yeah. It has
At one
none of
point,
the
it maybe
Godzilla
has
powers.
flame breath, or it's just blowing on cars and a car blows up. I couldn't
Yeah,
tell.
I was a bit confused with that shot. I was like,
Yeah.
did he just make a car explode, or is it just a '90s movie where the car
Car
explodes?
explodes. I think that in the original story and like partway through filming, they gave him fire breath or like laser breath, and then they realized that actually it would make the story very difficult to tell because he would just be
Yeah.
too powerful.
Mm.
Because the story of this one is no one's listening to the scientist who has found out that actually this Godzilla is hiding in the city and has laid a fuckload of eggs somewhere.
Well, because
Yeah, they're like,
shoot
he's
it.
nesting, and they're like, okay, that's bad. But then he gets taken off the case.
But he is a man Godzilla. He cannot be nesting.
But
We will
he's a
kill him, and then
boy
Godzilla is
lizard.
dealt with.
He's a boy lizard.
Yeah, he doesn't have a girl lizard to have sex with.
Are you saying that because they shoot at him a lot? They shoot at Godzilla a lot because
they
feed
miss Godzilla a lot.
him. Well, they
Yeah,
hit.
they never learn.
They
There's
shoot
also
at Godzilla a lot.
I was very surprised. Part of me was very surprised that a film from 1998 featured some of the buildings in New York blowing up.
Yeah, not allowed that
And
anymore.
then realized partway through they actually have a line where they're like, "This is the worst disaster since the World Trade Center bombings," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's why they didn't show the
Yeah.
World Trade Center being destroyed in this film then,
Yeah.
because it's something that had already been attacked before,
Yep.
3 years later."
But yeah, so he finds blood from Godzilla, and the U.S. military are like, "Good, it bleeds. We can kill it."
Hmm.
Okay.
And he's like, we've got to lure it out. But because he finds out it's pregnant because somehow they produce the same hormone.
Yep. He does a
When they're
pregnancy
pregnant?
test
Yeah.
on.
It's just a test because they lure it out with fish because they're trying to find out where the fuck it is, and they feed it, and then he's like, "Hang on, we just fed its fish so it can feed its young because it is pregnant."
Yeah, because it didn't just eat the fish; it sort of dragged
Yeah,
it
dragged
took
the
it
fish through
away.
the subway.
and then Audrey, who is the female reporter character, finally meets up with him and is chatting and is like,
She bumps
And-
into him
and
when he's
he-
buying 10 packs of pregnancy tests.
yeah, because she keeps on seeing him on the news and she's like, "Oh my god, it's him."
We also have the weird scene where she's just kind of. Well, no, it's later. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah,
Um,
we're flying through this one. It's fine.
It's so this film has so much. It's 2.5 hours long, but fuck, nothing
Not a lot to
happens.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of
yeah.
the same shit happening over
Yeah.
and over, which is the most boring way to have a long film.
Because it's just Godzilla doing stuff, and then Godzilla disappears, and they're like, "Oh, Godzilla's hiding in New York." No, Godzilla's
It's
the size of the buildings in
Yeah.
New York. for
Godzilla's
most of
hiding
it.
in New York. Where could it be? Hang on. Oh, it's decided to use the subway tunnels and is burrowing underground. The buildings would be collapsing.
Yeah, this is it. It's like oh, but it's hiding. No, it is, and again, it's that shifting monster size.
Sometimes
that
it's
happens
hide.
all the time.
It's small enough to go in the metro system in the tunnels, and then
Yeah.
sometimes it's ripping through
It's as big
entire.
as
It's bigger
literally
than a
big as a
skyscraper.
ship. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Like-
fine.
Yeah. I enjoyed the sort of Godzilla moments, but yeah, the human moments are just...
Yeah, it's great when Godzilla's in Godzilla.
Yeah. Godzilla's in Godzilla. There's that bit where Godzilla's being chased by helicopters and then tricks them into facing one way so it can do a sneak attack through a building and
Yeah, clever
knock
girl.
them out.
I like it when he jumps and chomps them as well.
Yeah.
Crouches down and chomps them. Sneaky chomp.
Yeah.
Godzilla has It feels like this film is doing so much to avoid Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, It's doing
It's like
everything it can.
the small Godzillas are definitely like the Velociraptors. And...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
100%.
they're kind of clever.
Mhm.
Yeah. And horrible.
And small
looking.
dinosaurs that they can be attacked by, and then they. Oh fuck! I just read. I mean, skipping to near the end of the film.
Yeah, please do.
So you know when they're trying to escape from Madison Square Gardens, and
Yeah.
they're like, if we manage to get out, we'll be fine. And then there's loads and loads of little Godzillas in front of the way out.
Yeah.
Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Well, the idea is that, like, because they're all born pregnant, that if they get out, there'll be, like, 14,000 by the end of the year. And he says, like,
because they'll just keep multiplying.
the funniest line.
There's no established like that. Like they're tiny in comparison to their mum.
Yeah, they're growth.
I mean, dad.
spurts.
Sorry. And
Both.
Genderless parent.
why do they think it's going to be that difficult? Like, no offense, but these dinosaurs are going to stand out.
Also, like, how quick do they grow? Does he think they grow?
Yeah.
Like, their growth is insane. They'd
And
have
like,
to
if they don't have a steady access to a steady stream of food,
Yeah. They'd have to eat so much food to maintain that growth that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends on, like, you know, if the Americans were in most films now where they're like, there's a problem in New York City, let's nuke it. If they nuked this one, they'd make the problem worse.
Yeah. They just get stronger.
Yeah, that's why they just have normal bombs
So they
and
just
attack Godzilla with a submarine.
so she they meet in the pharmacy. He's buying pregnancy tests. She's
Get
like,
back here.
she's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's a normal thing for people to do. And he's like, yeah, I'll show you what I'm doing.
Giant.
And she's like, are you still angry? And he's like, well, yeah, obviously I'm still angry. Like, just because it's been 8 years doesn't mean I'm still like I'm not still pissed with you.
Yeah.
I can move on with my life and still be cross that you literally ghosted me.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm
Um,
sorry, you've ruined my life.
And then he was like, oh, they're pregnant. And he's obviously doing that scientist thing of like, I'm so excited, I'll just tell the person who's next to me.
Yeah.
Even though he knows she's he thinks she's a reporter at the time because she's got the reporter badge
Stuff.
on because the
Yeah.
city's been evacuated,
Yeah.
but not quite. There's still taxi drivers and the press.
It's been, like, evacuated vaguely.
It's sort
It's
of
been
like
evacuated
lockdown.
so when
It's like,
Godzilla
you have to go unless you
absolutely
don't
wrecks
really want-
buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no children like crying out of
Yeah.
the hollowed out houses.
And then it's so they can have the bit where all the people are like, Godzilla was killed by that submarine. We want to go home. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And the mayor being like, I don't know what to do.
It was a long-term plan, though.
Oh yeah,
But-
the mayor B story is, or C story or whatever,
Yeah.
is not. It's not
Well, he-
worth mentioning. It's not good.
No.
He likes sweets, struggling with organising it, that's it. So yeah, he tells her about the pregnant dinosaur, and he's like,
And then leaves.
the
I've gotta tell people.
the kind of when he tells the military, they go, ah.
Yeah, and she also steals a tape that he has
Yeah.
from...
So when he goes
oh,
to tell
there's
them,
French Secret Service in this as well.
yeah, and they're all called Jean something.
Yeah,
best
and the main
characters.
actor is called John Reno.
The best characters in the entire film is the French actors save this film.
Yeah.
The French special service save this movie. They are hilarious. Yeah, he goes off to tell the military. The military kind of shrug and go, ah.
Yeah,
It's
they're like,
boy
a
Godzilla.
dude.
It can't have babies. Yeah.
Ah.
Don't worry. We'll instead lure it into Central Park and shoot it, and then shoot it with a submarine when it dives in the river. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's all
shooting
good.
it hasn't worked, so our plan is to shoot it.
Well, what if we
Yes.
shoot it more?
More.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, it bled
If-
last time, so if we just do more of that,
If we just keep doing that, it'll bleed enough to stop. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because like even the first time when it comes out and it's eating the fish, and Matthew Broderick just has a little moment with it where he's like, "Yeah, this is just a big animal,
Yeah.
cool," and then it accidentally stands on something and they lose contact with the army, and so the army are like, "Fucking kill it."
Yeah.
Like,
But that's the end.
yeah,
But yeah, she takes the tape, shows the world.
but she wants it to be her. She wants her big break. She thinks that if she,
yeah,
gets
she's
this-
still like journalist brain. She
and
wants
it's
to be a
the
journalist.
tape is the is the flyover tape that we see of the original Godzilla footage in French Polynesia.
Yeah.
and the Japanese guy saying Godzilla.
Yeah.
She manages to find a tape with the exact shots
Editing.
from the movie on it.
Yeah.
Which is useful.
We don't ask who was filming that footage whilst it was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gives it to her boss. Her boss as like her story. He takes it, runs it as his story. She sits in her room crying, which really annoyed me.
Oh,
I was so angry at
yeah.
that. She's such a badly written character, and it makes me so.
Because she's
mad.
she's so useless about the fact that he stole from her.
Yeah, she's just like, I wasted my career.
This guy was a sleazy dirtbag, and he's done a sleazy dirtbag thing. Whoever saw that coming?
But then she's like, I ruined my life. I want the man that I loved back, and I threw him away for a career that was never going to happen. I'm like, this was written by a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
They're angry at him for leaking the tape, even though
he gets fired
He gets
from
kicked out from his
worm guy at army.
yeah head
is his
worm
job
guy.
title.
I
Yeah.
really wanted him to stand up and be like, you can kick me out, but no one knows about irradiated worms like I do.
And they're like, my guy, this is a big lizard, not a big worm.
He's like, you got me.
But instead he gets picked up by the French
French
characters.
boys,
And then they believe him, and so they're like, yep, let's go in, let's try and find this nest and blow it up.
Yeah. And her camera guy, who has like the nicest wife in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't know why all these people are here. And she's like, well, they needed a place. They can't go back to New York. They needed a place to stay, so I brought them here. You're like, she's lovely. She's so nice. And just kind of charitable. And he's like, oh, we're going to go, I'm gonna go and film whatever the French people are doing.
Yeah, he says that to the reporter.
Crying woman.
Girl. Crying woman. Main love interest.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I'll go with you. And they go and follow
Well,
them.
she's like, oh, I'm not going to go. And then he's like, well, I'm going. So
Yeah.
you're either coming with me or you're not. But this could be your story. This could be your big break.
Yeah. I like camera guy. He's nice.
Yeah,
He's a
nice.
good character,
Funny as well.
Yeah.
Because he gets into Madison Square Garden and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, this is where the Knicks shower.
It's great. I love that. When they give characters actual personalities, like him and the French, the head French guy.
Yeah.
They're great. They're really funny.
Because they're actually quite charismatic.
Yeah. But everyone else is so bland.
Yeah. So whilst they break in sort of through the subway, and because there's only two of them, it's easier, I guess.
Yeah.
But then the French Secret Service break in with Worm Dude by pretending to be American.
Yep.
Yeah,
Chewing
by
gum.
And they're like chewing gum and doing bad Elvis Presley impersonations.
Yeah.
Which I think is supposed to be a joke about the French, but is definitely comes across as about a joke about Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at no point do the French guys seem like the bad people in any of these situations.
No. But yeah, they manage to get in. They sneak through. The only way they can get in and try and find the nest is by going into the destroyed subway stations and kind of following the trail back.
Yeah. And they end up at Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah.
And it's
Which
full
is
of
a
eggs.
circular concert venue, not a square garden.
It's to the brim with Godzilla eggs.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, there's 3. Oh, maybe there's at least 20, and then it kind of zooms out, and it's like the whole
there's 100.
stadium.
Good God, there's
No,
100.
fair play to her. Like
Yeah.
he's been busy.
Yeah. Busy shitting out eggs.
No wonder it vanished for like half the movie.
Yeah. He was watching the Knicks play.
Yeah.
Tickets.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, we need to tell the world, but there's no way of... All the signals been blocked for some reason. For
Yeah.
shrugging.
We've only got a bit of C4. We can't blow up all of them. So let's go. They managed to collide with Audrey and
everyone
cameraman.
meets up, and then they
Yeah.
go to the
The press
broadcast
station.
room.
Yeah.
And
Because that's hardwired, but it's like it's one of those things as well where it's like some things work, some things don't because of how
Yeah.
much Godzilla's wrecked the place.
It's late 90s tech jargon. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan that she just says, "Oh, it works on internet."
Yeah.
It works on internet, and
I
it's
thought it was
hardwired in.
intranet.
It was just bizarre. It was such a weird, But yeah, she says that they're gonna go, okay, and they run along, and instead of immediately going, there are dinosaur eggs, and they look at how fucking many they are.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
hi, welcome to the show. I just wanted to tell you, reporter, here's Worm Guy to tell us more. Just point it at the eggs and go, look,
like, fuck.
eggs!
Yeah, because they have to, like, broadcast it to this specific guy to try and get him to put it on as well.
Yeah,
and so they're like, well, we'll show him the eggs.
The military are...
Yeah,
like,
they'll kind of watch.
It's to get a message out to the military, but for some reason it's presented like it's just a general news update.
Yeah.
So just
because it's like...
Tell them...
It's trying to... Because at this point, all the citizens of New York are like, we want to go back to Manhattan to our houses because Big Godzilla's been killed by that submarine.
Yeah, they think they've got rid of it, and the army's celebrating. They think they got it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just go. And
they're like, no, look, there's lots of babies here. And so they're like, cool, we'll bomb Madison Square Gardens. You've got 6 minutes to get out. All this happening while they're running away from baby Godzillas, which are eating popcorn.
Yeah. It is very Gremlins.
Is it popcorn or Cheez-Its?
It's very Gremlins either way.
Yeah.
This bit's very Gremlins.
Yeah, the scene that's really cringy where he's like in the lift, because the lift still works, obviously.
Yeah.
And he goes up to a floor, and then it's just this pack of Godzilla babies chowing down on it looks like Cheez-Its and popcorn and other stuff, and he just goes wrong floor and presses the close button. Lazy.
And when they're running away, he like throws a thing of gumballs down so they all slip and slide on it.
This film is tonally all over the place.
Yeah.
I think what it's trying to have is comedic relief.
Yeah.
But it's actually just kind of badly done and jarring.
Yeah, it's not good.
There's one bit coming up which I did genuinely find funny though. So they managed to get out. They shoot the chandeliers so they can get out, and then Madison Square Gardens is bombed by the military, so it's blown up all the things. And then Nick and Audrey have a kiss, and they're like having a little smoochy time. And then it just cuts to the cameraman and the French guy, and he's like, "So."
Yeah, I like that. That was funny.
Yeah. But then Big Godzilla, not dead, comes out the top of Madison Square Gardens. Is like, "Oi, you fucking killed my babies.
You killed my babies."
Godzilla pissed now.
And chases them.
And managed to get back there. I guess underground, not being seen.
Yep.
Very quiet, giant dinosaur.
Yeah, dead in a river.
This is why the chase scene and everything is why I think they took the laser breath off.
Yeah.
Where they got rid of
And this is why I thought there were maybe 2 big Godzillas, and they'd killed one, but the mum was still here, aren't they?
Just the one.
But no.
Godzilla.
So they steal a taxi and
kill Godzilla.
Drive away from Godzilla for a bit.
Oh man, and this taxi is sturdy.
Yeah. He throws like a taxi number plate thing to the military guys so they can talk on the radio because they have their own frequency or some shit.
Unneeded. It's such unneeded detail in this film.
Yeah. And they manage to get past Godzilla by flashing the lights, and it goes.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, let's go on a cable bridge, and I'm like, cool, they're going to use the bridge to trap Godzilla. This is kind of smart. But Godzilla surprises them and eats the taxi for a bit.
Yeah.
And so he shoves an electric cable into Godzilla's gums. Because Godzilla, not electricity proof.
No, radiant resistant, not.
Yeah.
Not this film.
They managed to drive off, and the suspension cables of Brooklyn Bridge trap Godzilla, and now they can shoot it with the missiles.
Yeah, he's trapped in the cables.
Yeah. And then as Godzilla's dying, Nick is that's his character's name, by the way.
Worm
Matthew
Guy.
Broderick is like
Ferris.
Yeah.
Worm Guy.
He's like Worm Guy. He's like, here's a sad moment because it's raining. It's raining during the whole fucking film, but it's raining. And
this
he's
film
like,
is so blue.
It has to rain because otherwise, you'd see how shit Godzilla looks. Like, Godzilla doesn't look too bad in some scenes because it's raining.
Yeah.
Another scene that they took from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Godzilla's just dying, and he's like, oh, this is sad. It was just a big animal trying to survive.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, it's dead.
Well, the thing is, you can't really leave Godzilla alive.
No.
No, I can understand feeling bad about killing him, but it's like it's the better of two bad choices.
It had to be done.
As like
and on that,
an animal, it can't survive in the modern world.
No.
Like, it doesn't have the food source. It'll kill. It's a danger to the environment. To, like, any ecosystem you put it in.
Technically an invasive species.
100 is the most invasive species.
Yeah.
Apart from
And, like,
humans.
even if you did let it live, you'd have to put a tracker on it, and, like, every fishing boat in the world would have to have connection to that tracker.
Yeah.
It's just, no, it had to die.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Godzilla isn't worth the hassle.
Godzilla's just not worth the hassle of keeping around.
You've got to make sure Godzilla dies.
And you can't put it in...
And then you don't have to worry about more Godzillas because Godzilla's dead and we blew up all the eggs.
Yeah, they're definitely all gone.
They're definitely all gone.
Didn't
And
miss
I
any of
remember,
them.
as a kid watching this, that final shot of, there's an egg left and there's a secret Godzilla egg that's cracking. I was like, that is the coolest shit I have ever seen. And now I'm like, yeah, it's the last egg.
Obvious sequel tease, yeah.
Sequel tease that didn't happen because
Thank
even
God.
at the time everyone was like, this is shit.
This is not good. This is not
Yeah,
good.
I don't remember watching this as a kid. I think it just, I don't know, yeah. It came out a little bit too early for me to see it organically, and no one thought, oh yeah, let's show her this Godzilla film.
Yeah, that's fair.
I did watch it with Jim a little while ago and was like, this is not good. But I only like half watched it, so I did go in thinking, this might not be bad.
Yeah, I definitely, I say, the memories I had of this were like the action sequences and the sequences with Godzilla in, and yeah, not the whole first 20 minutes where it's him going to different parts of the world going, there was a Godzilla here.
You have teenage boy memories of it.
Yes,
Where you go, action scenes, great.
Really
And
cool
there's
bits,
a girl.
There's go.
Not, and I remember being like, they've got to get out of the place full of the eggs in a certain time, but they've got to get past the dinosaurs, and it's really tense because are they going to make it?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's the only bit you'd remember from this film. No one's watching this film going, I like the bit where he has the worms.
I like the bit where he reads the taxi number out.
Yeah, because that's really smart as what he had to do. Also, I have to say, this film had the fucking worst after credits music I've ever heard.
What was it? I turned it off
So
as soon as I
bad.
could.
It was like a weird remix of, I can't remember the name of the song, but it had some shit rapping over it, mixed in with Godzilla rules.
Wow, so it's not up there with the Mortal Kombat theme.
So they kind of
No.
tried to do the Will Smith thing of having them rap over the soundtrack,
Yeah.
but they just used Godzilla.
They just make...
Yeah.
Well, they've got to get the main character rapping.
It's oh, okay, so it's Come With Me by Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
It's Led Zeppelin's Kashmir, like the guitar bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
the
like,
main
I
bit.
remember it being like the theme tune being like something very
Yeah.
well known.
Like that bit, recognisable.
How very 2000s.
Really,
Bit on the nose.
shit, really, really shit rapping over it. And then, yeah, just mixed in
Right, yeah. Come on, Puff
Godzilla
Daddy.
roars.
Puff Daddy was a bit shit though, even for
The
the fairly low
strangest.
bar.
Didn't he then become P. Diddy and all sorts, and also a bit of a dodgy guy?
Either,
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not
Yeah.
here leaping to his defence.
Oh, no.
One bit I
I'm
did
sorry.
like, just before we finish.
Okay.
I did like when they are tracking Godzilla and they're trying to get him to go and eat the fish the first time, and
Yeah.
they just have like a tracker on a very 90s tech thing.
On the big
then
picture
it's
of
a
the
big
fish.
it's the big picture of the fish,
yeah,
and the tracker just gets closer and closer to the big fish.
yeah.
I like how many times in the first part of this movie when people see Godzilla, they do the dolly zoom.
Mhm.
Because it happens so many times, like
Yeah.
a noticeable amount of times.
I just don't understand why they kept calling Godzilla he. Because there is no
Yeah.
reason for them to call Godzilla he.
There's no reason to. Unless the twist was, yes, Godzilla is a female, and then that's why it laid eggs, which is what I thought it was, not.
Second boy
Because that would have
Godzilla.
been,
Yeah,
there's,
it's like,
there's
well,
actually
you know.
secretly two, and that's why
But even
that's
after
why
that,
it's nested, and that's why they're different sizes.
they kept
and
calling
But
Godzilla
if something
he.
can reproduce, it kind of,
It
yeah,
was
the
just
sex
stra-
is female.
It was just strange. It was so, and just the writer is a nerd.
Yeah, it's the late 90s. They're not going to refer to Godzilla as they, them, unfortunately.
God, look. Godzilla is our gender fluid queen.
Yeah.
And peak representation for, honestly...
Non-binary parents?
Peak representation for queer people. Big, angry, destroy cities.
Laying
Baby
lots
has
of eggs.
flame breath.
Permanently misgendered.
And powered up by radiation.
And powered by radiation.
Yeah.
Godzilla, the gender fluid queen. The representation
I'd watch that movie.
that is not just needed. The representation the world needs right now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really ever been into Godzilla films.
No, neither have
Okay.
I.
It's just one of those genres that I kind of skipped because I was like,
Get me Wokezilla.
Yeah,
Dumb.
I've seen some. Like I've seen the newer sort of like American ones, and yeah, I went to the cinema to see Godzilla -1 back in December. That was really good.
Yeah. I watched the one with, is it Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, the 2014 one. Yeah,
Watch that.
yeah, I like that one's pretty good. And like the sequels and that, and Godzilla vs Kong, surprisingly fun movie of just two big things beating the shit out of each
Yeah.
other. Those kind like they're fun movies in a way, or like like Godzilla -1, it is a very kind of like surprisingly heartfelt movie
Yeah.
that's got a Godzilla in it.
Good.
I mean, as we know from last time we did a big monster movie, I was definitely more of a King Kong fan.
Godzilla feels like it's a heartfelt action franchise.
Yeah.
Like, it's an action franchise with artistic merit, is what Godzilla kind of... The rest of the... Not this one,
No.
but like the other one, it's action franchise with artistic merit. Because all of them seem to be, like, to a degree, have artistic presence. Not this one.
Which is why they really... I think I've mentioned it before. If they'd have made a film which was Godzilla 1998 versus Peter Jackson's King Kong...
Yeah.
I mean, Godzilla would win because Peter Jackson's King Kong's just a big gorilla, and Godzilla is fucking huge.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. King Kong changes sizes about 100 times in that movie.
Yeah, but if you can compare King Kong running around New York in that film to
at the end of the
Godzilla
film,
running around,
at the end of the film, he's fucking massive for some reason.
yeah, he'd be climbing up the skyscrapers just to get eye level of Godzilla.
That's a much more fascinating fight, though.
Yeah.
I'm here for watching teeny tiny Godzilla RKO. A giant
he's just
Godzilla.
scrappy.
Yeah, he's just scrappy. He's got opposable thumbs.
Yeah. Oh, he just like digs his thumbs into Godzilla's eyes.
Yeah, I want that. I want like a
Yeah.
really brutal fight between Godzilla and like a
But yeah,
medium.
this Godzilla
King
and the
Kong.
Peter Jackson King Kong.
Yeah, I want like brutal realism fight.
blood, guts, and bone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
between King Kong and a medium-sized King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah.
I also want Wokezilla. I want Wokezilla that's they them monster.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's no other Godzilla film where Godzilla lays eggs to have baby Godzillas.
No,
Because in other things, it's
monster.
nothing like the
It's a
Godzilla
monster
in this.
movie.
Like, I like the design of the monster in this, but I think it is just Big Lizard, not Godzilla.
It's big.
It's big lizard, but it does border on dinosaur.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
yeah, it is
on
a
T-Rex,
dinosaur.
kind of, but not quite.
Hmm.
Because it's still got big front arms, but
It feels like they made it too close to the T-Rex in Jurassic Park
yeah,
and had to tone it down.
lengthen those arms out.
Yeah, make him
'Cause-
less.
but if it
T-Rexy.
looked like a T-Rex, like it wouldn't be able. How would it swim?
Yeah.
With its tail,
But it's just his little arms out, like
you know.
Actually, T-Rexes can swim. Have you not seen the Planet
Okay.
Earth style documentary about the dinosaurs on Apple?
Yeah, a lot of lizards swim and they have little
Yeah,
arms.
they had hollow bones so they could swim.
Oh,
Although-
God. Okay, yep. Sorry, I forgot you guys were dinosaur kids.
No, I
also,
watched this
like,
recently. There was that.
a lot of just lizards swim.
Yeah,
They
There
like
was a-
flatten their bodies out and swim with their tails.
Yeah, but most lizards aren't like like T-Rex shape
Yeah.
with the
Well, no,
with
they
the
don't-
big old legs
They're
and
big
then
They
the
middle-
do.
little
They do
no,
the
tiny arms.
little swims.
They do have
Yeah,
a little, but they
um,
use their tails to like propel them, and they
It
just
just they
tuck
look like
their
they're
arms and
too
legs in.
booty heavy.
Well, yeah.
They look
Because
like
they've got
you
hollow
go in-
bones.
Again, that's not the issue with Godzilla. Godzilla
Watch
isn't
the-
doing. Do you reckon Godzilla's doing like the doggy paddle? How do you? Godzilla's out there doing the breaststroke. No, tail propulsion.
I guess
Yeah.
what this is showing is that I know very little about both lizards and dinosaurs, but I also don't know a lot about swimming.
You know that scene in this Godzilla where he's like fishing and the Godzilla's like coming towards him and it's just creating that like wave wake thing.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but like, and then he starts to come above the water and he's just doing the breaststroke.
Just
Big breaststroke Godzilla.
Yeah, he's doing the mum at the leisure centre breaststroke where he's keeping his head above water the entire time.
Yeah.
To not get his hair wet.
No, but like full force, like. That's so funny. Oh, fucking backstroke Godzilla. He's getting
That
away.
makes sense. 'Cause he can breathe out of his little snoot.
Yeah. He's getting away. He's doing the breaststroke. So he's doggy paddling. I believe
I'm gonna give
Godzilla is
it-
mocking us.
4 fancy helicopters that destroy far more buildings than they
Yeah.
do Godzilla's.
Yeah.
Because that was honestly the most entertaining part for me, was when they were shooting everything except the lizard.
Yeah, just blowing up buildings and like when they're chasing Godzilla, firing machine guns the whole time, and it's like that's the only reason they evacuated the city was so when you're watching this, you're not like they just killed thousands of people.
Yeah.
Also, like, I know that there's a lot of training that goes into the military so that you follow orders and everything like that, which is all gruesome or whatever, but how pissed off would you be if you were told you're going to fight this giant lizard and you're given a machine gun?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what
like
are you
after
supposed
a
to
while,
do with that?
after a while shooting at you, you'd be like, I'm going to stop shooting.
Yeah.
It's
What is this
clearly
doing?
not doing anything.
Yeah.
I think 4. I think I'd go with 4. 4 butterfly stroking Godzilla. 4 Godzilla's doing
Oh
the
god, that
butterfly stroke.
butterfly is hectic.
Oh yeah, it's chaotic. It's a really weird.
I still think that it's made up and no one actually ever did it seriously, and then it accidentally became a thing.
Yeah. Can you imagine being on like a boat, on like a ship, on like a fishing ship, and you're like, there's something in the water out in the distance, and it like bubbles up, and then it's just splashing. It's just so much splashing. This is
Yeah, that sounds like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's this giant monsters just like butterfly stroking towards you.
Godzilla is just a Magikarp that finally
Yeah,
evolved.
it just got
And
stuck
then
becoming a Gyarados.
He finally gets towards you, and you're like, mate, you could have swum much more efficiently than that.
He's just
What
exhausted.
Are you doing?
He's just he gets you and leans on the side of the boat like, give me a minute.
Yeah, I think I would also give this a 4. 4 really overplayed jokes about the main character's surname because it just didn't land any time.
Oh,
What was
When
it,
they knew that.
Talopolis or something?
It's Totopolis, and
Totopolis, yeah.
every character that meets him is like Topodopolis, and it's like that's just you know
read the name.
racism. Yes, yeah,
It's
the
weirdly
name.
anti-Greek.
yeah. Don't
No.
don't watch this one.
don't watch the movie.
You don't have
Watch
to.
Jurassic Park.
Right,
Yeah, watch Jurassic Park or like the new Godzillas or
Literally watch
Pacific
any other
Rim. That's
Godzilla.
really good.
Watch literally any other Godzilla.
Or is it?
Yeah,
it
no,
is,
Pacific
it is.
Rim's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is good.
yeah, good film.
Dan won't let us do that one because if we tell him it's not good, he might kill us.
I remember how much he liked it when we were younger,
Yeah.
which isn't
I mean,
necessarily a good thing.
we can do Pacific Rim
You
at
don't
some
have
point.
the
I'm
best
happy
track
to do it.
record, Dan.
Yeah, no, I really don't.
Well,
Well, yeah.
another
I've been
day,
down.
another terrible movie, another
Yeah.
memory destroyed.
Yeah,
This
we
was
had
nice.
fun while it lasted, watching like Pitch Perfect and shit. We had to get back to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't forget
I-
to like and subscribe.
Yeah, leave us a review, that kind of thing. I already said I've been Dan, so
Right,
I've been
I've
Helen.
been Michael.
Sorry, I did that out of order. That was really rude of me.
Fine,
How
I don't mind.
dare you? We need to re-record the whole episode now.
Oh wait, you guys were recording?
Well, you can hopefully find this podcast on social media at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. Come and tell us what your history with Godzilla and things like that is.
And TikTok. We're on TikTok.
Yeah, we're on TikTok
down
as
with
well.
the kids.
Yeah, we're posting little clips of
This podcast.
Of them now, of this podcast. Yeah.
All we need is a template to go viral, and we'll be made.
Exactly.
That's
We'll
how
have
TikTok
one
works.
viral TikTok video, and it'll get 3 more listeners. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But we do also have a Patreon, so you can support the show. Helps us, unfortunately, keep watching movies like this. But what special thing are we going to be doing for Patreon this week?
Godzilla's swimming school.
We're going to train lizards to swim.
No, I
Specific
mean, the
strokes.
original Godzilla was just a guy in a suit.
Yeah,
so...
no, the lizards are going to train people to swim. The one big going to get a lizard, blast it with radiation. That's going to teach everyone how to swim.
Nice. We'll need a big microwave. We'll have to get Styropyro to make us a big microwave beam.
Don't put your lizards in the microwave
Don't
to
put your
give them
lizards in.
powers.
Don't put your
No,
lizards in the
because
microwave.
you'll end up with a
They
Godzilla.
become giant killing machines that lay eggs.
The Godzilla roar from this one specifically is burnt into my mind because I had this like toy from this movie that was a Godzilla head, and it made that exact roar.
Yeah, there was a series of Godzilla toys that just made that horrible scream.
Yeah,
I remember it fondly.
exactly.
I think I had one of the little raptor babies that did it.
Birmingham are currently drawing 1-1 with Hull. Just to keep you guys updated.
Wow,
Very nice.
fascinating.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Which one are they drawing?
There's an art competition.
Yeah.
Between Birmingham City and Hull City.
Yeah, to see who can draw one the fastest. It's a lie.
I'm watching the new esport Photoshop.